Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Aligning with Success. It's Monday, February 10, 2025, in case you forget what year we're in and what month we're in. So we're about a third, actually a little bit past a third of the month, if we understand February being 28 days. Um, so tonight's call is kind of the midway point where we have an opportunity maybe to interact and get some feedback on how you're doing, how you're progressing with your goal. Um, Before we do that, there's been a few posts that I want to bring some attention to, because I still get requests from people, odds and ends here and there. How do I do this? How do I get there? How do I plug this? How do I plug that? So I just wanted to go over sort of a simple protocol for when you are that way you have what you need at your resources. So as independent entrepreneurs, I figure if I'm doing something, you know enough to know or for that matter, if Dave's doing something, you know enough to know it's something you should pay attention to and put it in your arsenal of tools, so to speak, into your toolbox. So, one of the things that we want to make sure we do as part of our onboarding process when we enroll somebody new is plug them in. The term that we're going to use is plug them in. Now, there's a number of things that we want to plug them into, but first and foremost is the communication channels that are available to them so that they begin to form a relationship with the Niken family independent of you. And so one of them, of course, is the core consultant chat. That's a group chat on WhatsApp that enables them to plug into the communications that are happening with active field members. There's also the social media side of things that Niken has available to somebody new so that they plug into the stream of information that's coming from Niken, which also includes Telegram and the tools channel that they have available there. One of the ways to ensure that they're getting up-to-date information and motivation is to ensure that they enroll or subscribe to the Niken, the Core Consultant newsletter. That one we sent out this morning. Did you have a chance to look at it? It's terrific, and it's always up to date and it's always informative. But most importantly, it also has all of the links that a person can use. And the next one we're gonna update it so it has the Niken social media links as well. So it's kind of your one-stop shop. You know, if you got somebody subscribed on the Core Consultant newsletter, then they're going to see the links. And you can also forward them one of your newsletters, one of the links to the newsletter so that they see it and they can also get access to the links. One of the other important links that's important for people to get plugged into is the We Accelerate program, which is this meeting tonight, the Tuesday nights, the Wednesday nights, the Thursday nights, as an opportunity for people to learn how to enroll people, as well to leverage those events. And the schedule for that is both on the core consultant or excuse me, the Niken Connect. Where do you get the Niken Connect PDF? You can get it by being on the newsletter, the core consultant newsletter. You can just click on the link that's there and download it. We also have the document called Mining for Diamonds, where we outline the process and how these events take place in a sequence of order so that they can participate and leverage those events. And also in that document is the link to participate in the We Accelerate chat, that group chat, which is this month's called February We Accelerate group chat. That is for the team members who have set written goals and to help them, um, like on this call, get those goals met in the course of any particular month. So it's important that you have a very simple and familiar route to enroll somebody and then enroll them in the communication channels, because this is how they're going to become independent of you and plug into the Niken highway, so to speak, the family of Niken consultants and the various activities that can support their business. So, sort of what I'm trying to do is get to a simple rule of thumb: get on the Core Consultant newsletter, share with them the Core Consultant newsletter, which at the very top says subscribe to the Core Consultant newsletter. And so you have a method now for having them plugging into the relevant activities that are happening online, for building their and supporting their independent activity as a business builder. So, any questions about that before we move on? Simple enough, straightforward enough. Okay, and when should you onboard somebody with those? Right away. If they've enrolled in Niken as a business builder, have them enroll in those communications, because what they're going to get access to is other people besides yourself who are pretty much encouraging a particular type of behavior, the kind of behavior that we all encourage. And so they're going to get information, subsidies, so to speak, just not just from you. And it makes them feel like they're part of something greater. Dave.
Yeah, just to clarify something, Michael, are you assuming that are these for people that have signed up, then
Yes.
plug them in? Okay.
Yes.
So what I was going to add to this is as you're progressing down the line, one of the biggest challenges that people have is what's called follow-up. And you contact somebody, you get them excited, and then they say, okay, well, we'll talk later, whatever the case may be. And the next step is the next call. You got to follow up and keep that conversation going, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the downfalls of the follow-up procedure for most people is not having anything to say. And the key to it is having something to say. So if you have a pre-planned idea of what you go, oh, by the way, I wanted to get back with you because I wanted to give you this link. You can use this as another way to keep people engaged in your conversation. And there's a lot of things that you can utilize with, like the web page or whatever it is. And I'm sure Michael will put together something brilliant on that as well. But that's another way to get people plugged in.
Awesome. Thank you. Very, very good. Very important. Any questions? Anyone? Okay, cool. Well, with respect to the business now, since we want to really help people meet their challenges, their goals, expectations regarding building the business, do we have any questions, any things that you would like? Oh, Leo, you've got your hand up, so jump in, Leo.
Hi, everybody. I just like to say uh, bienvenue,
Welcome.
to welcome to my new consultant tonight, brand new on this weekend, Serge down, and Josie in the car, and she want to be silver this month. Yes, bravo, Josie. And Serge, I met them 2 weeks ago,
Where's
but
Serge? I'm looking for Serge on the
Serge, you
screen here.
speak English.
Where
Serge
are
is
you, Serge?
Serge, open your micro, you speak English very well. Serge, ouvre ton
Oh,
micro.
there he is. I see Serge. There you
Serge.
are.
Yeah, I
Welcome, Josephina, and welcome, Serge.
Serge,
Actually,
I met them in the
Thank you.
hockey game bar, and I do my system with them. And this afternoon, he asked me for her coffee, and new consultant now. Yes.
welcome. Fantastic. And that's how we do it, folks. We open our mouth, share Niken, and find out what people are looking for and give them an option. Really good, really good. In fact, I think we met Josephina, Dave and I, on one of the calls, the Thursday night call. We met Josephina. Um, she was, she's looking to help people. She's very into natural medicine. She'd like to make money and retire before 65, if I got that right. Is that right, Josephina? Yeah,
Yeah. And we met
I've
her
got your
last
goal.
Thursday.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Terrific. And we haven't met Serge yet. Serge, would you mind unmuting your microphone if you can? And why don't you introduce yourself? Let us know a little bit about you.
All right. Can you hear me?
Oh,
We can.
I
Yes, we
have
can.
just I
I
have
just saw I just saw
another one,
Gaetan.
Keita.
Gaetan
Okay,
just
Serge,
joined us,
Serge,
and we'll
Serge,
get to
check
hit you
it.
next.
Another one, new consultant, Gaetan. Yeah.
Very good. Excellent. Gaetan, I'll talk to you in a second. Serge, give us your background a bit.
Oh boy. Have a like I'm quite a bit past 65, so I can't have Josefina's goal.
That's okay. Well, we have other people past 65 on this call. I'm sure you're going to hear some pretty neat things from them too.
Uh, well, I'm retired, and I used to do industrial automation, and then I switched, and as a retirement activity, I became a trucker.
Oh, well, okay.
So, in order, because
Are you still a trucker?
yeah, I'm leaving this tonight. Well, not tonight.
Well,
This,
Serge, I recommend you don't leave home without this thing. This is the Niken Kenko
yeah.
seat in your truck. Man, that'll be a big savior for you, I'm sure.
Well, I'm definitely going to try it. I'm gonna.
Definitely
This
do
is
that.
Yeah, because so I'm leaving for New Jersey tomorrow. So,
So what is it that attracted you to join Niken? What do you see here?
well, uh, I've been involved in some network marketing before, so I have quite a bit of an idea on how it works, and I was never really satisfied. So I thought, like, I met Leo, so when he introduced me to Niken, and I said, well, I'll give it a try, but I'm not as enthusiastic as everybody else, or might be, because I've had my load of shortcomings. Uh,
As we say,
w-
unlucky at love, but it's okay. There's always the next one.
well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I like some of the products. For instance, the grounding. That's the thing that I'm quite actually fascinated with electricity and magnetism. How do I pronounce it?
Magnetism, yeah.
Okay, I was putting the emphasis on the wrong syllables. Um, so yeah, I got interested. That interests me. So I'm going to um, how can I say?
Give it a go.
I'll give it a try and see what happens. I don't have any intention of putting myself under any kind of pressure. So there were some times where I would put myself under a lot of pressure in order to have success and all this stuff. I'm not too crazy about that, but of course, I want to make I want to make more money. I have some plans. I've one of the reasons I became a trucker it was to uh, I want to buy a land and to get to a point where I'm self-sufficient as in all regards, like food
Sure.
and all this. So, and I want to
Cool.
pass that down to my daughter, who turns who is 22. So basically, that's and I'm exploring it. So I've like this is fairly new to me. I didn't have a chance to study much because I was always driving, and I came back Saturday morning, and I'm leaving again. Uh, so we'll see how this goes. I'll try some products. So definitely the grounding things and the water things is interesting. Um,
Well, buckle up, Serge. Enjoy the ride. And you're in good company and you're in good hands with Leo. Leo's a pro. He knows how to coach and teach. He has a great system for helping people to learn about Nikan and enroll. As you can see, he's got 3 new guests here on tonight. So as far as putting pressure on yourself, we call that goal setting. And I know a lot of people have a resistance to goal setting because they don't want to, appear to fail or be disappointed. But I learned a long time ago from one of the best coaches in the world, Bob Proctor, who said, a goal is not about whether you achieve it or not. It's about the person you need to grow
I'll,
into, the person you need to become in order to achieve the goal. So it's about guiding us and directing us in a way to grow ourselves, so we can become successful as a consequence of the growth that follows setting goals and aspirations for ourselves. So cool. Good on you. Let's move over to Gaetan. Gaetan, you
Yes.
All right.
you are an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. You got a fabulous product story already, and you want to enjoy retirement, correct?
Correct. Before I die.
Okay. We all want to have a little bit of joy before we die, sure. Okay. Very, very good. Well, welcome to the call. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining, everyone. All right,
And
let's
I-
get back on. Yeah, go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, just yesterday my son invited me for a Super Bowl party with the many young people. I'm the only old man there, and I ate some beer, chip, chicken wing, it's Super Bowl party. And a young lady girls come to me said, "Hi, my name is Jasmina, and I'm Leo. I'm Raphael's father." I said, "Oh, you look like blah blah blah." And I just wait. She said, "What you do for a living?" That's just I need to know what to do for a living. I said, you Yasmina? I said, yes. You have three options for a living. The first one is to be salary, work for another a boss. 100% of your effort, and you're scared to lose your job. And 82% of people hate the job. She said, yes, I am. Second, then you have self-employed, it's fine, but 500, 100 to your effort, and you're scared to lose customer. Okay? And the third one is, what's the third one? I'm a professional of network marketing. And I'm share her my sister, 3D step, and she speaks three languages, English, French, and Spanish, because her boyfriend is Colombian. I said, Colombia? Niken's there. I said, she's very, very interested. And I want to her mate, Sophia. She's the same, okay? I
Age.
showed
Yeah.
her same age. And you see, she just asked me what you do for a living. I just said, salary, self-employed, professional of network marketing is the best. That's it. And she said, sounds good. I'm interested. Yes, she must be a new consultant this week.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Congratulations, Leo. Congratulations, new members in NECAN. So, do we have any questions this week regarding achieving goals? Dave, if you've got anything on your mind, I got one thing on my mind in terms of talking about this evening, and that is the idea of selling a transformation. We'll talk about that in a minute. Does anybody have any questions pertaining to their activities and how to improve on that? Questions, anyone?
I'm trying to build. I've got to build a team. I've been.
Patrick, is that you?
Yes, sir.
You're kind of in the dark there, metaphorically speaking and literally.
Well, it turns out I am part of Paul's group, so I am a blind person myself. Yes.
So
Okay, fair enough.
I'm
Oh,
trying
you're-
to-
There we
is your
go.
video turned on?
No, he's okay. His video's on. He's just in the dark.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Patrick.
well, I'm just trying to get to the point where I'm one of the people you laughingly call perm executive. I've been executive for a long time. I'm trying to get to silver, but I'm having this difficulty at the moment. But I'm part of Paul's group, and we just recently lost one of our members, Holly Frisch, very suddenly, which was a little bit of a shock. But I'm in the process of trying to build the team, and I'm frustrated at this point. I should be doing better than I'm doing right now.
Well, without looking at your numbers, it's pretty hard to comment, but I can tell you, number one, you're right on the right track if it's building a team. Silver ought to be a result of building a team. So it's not so much an objective, it's not a goal, it's a consequence of a goal. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, you may miss the point. In fact, the easiest way to advance in rank to silver is by helping somebody else advance in rank to silver. And that's always the easiest because it puts the pressure off of you. You focus on helping somebody else, and the activity that results in is going to build a volume that you need in order to achieve silver as well. So I always tell people the easiest way to go silver is help somebody else do it. And focus on building a team is the right attitude. It's just a question of now, and I'm going to say this out loud a few times because I want to make sure everybody gets this. The single most important thing you can possibly learn to be a successful Nikken business owner is how to contact and invite. It is the single most important thing you can learn. Educating people about Nikken is easy if they're interested. It's getting them interested in learning about Nikken. That's the tall order. And
Yes,
so
sir.
the skill set of contact and invite is the most important skill set one can learn. However you may meet somebody, in whatever circumstances you may meet them, feeling comfortable with contacting them, or if you're in contact with them, inviting them into a process of information that is something they're doing for themselves and not for you. Okay, let me repeat that. They're going through this investigation because they want to, because it's for their benefit, not yours. So that skill of creating an environment, an atmosphere, an attraction where somebody says, tell me more, show me more, give me the information. When you've got them asking you, you did it right. So that skill set can be learned. Of course, the better the more you practice it, the better you get at it. And the only way to practice it is to actually do it with people. Leo's got such a great skill. It doesn't take very many words for him to convert what do you do into tell me more. It's not, he does it in a few sentences. But if you're looking for some help, I'm going to give you some tools, two tools that you can study. They're both called the same. It's called Contact and Invite. It's a YouTube video, but it's not really a video. It's the audio you want to listen to, but it's just posted on YouTube. Contact and Invite, one by myself, Mike DiMuccio, and the other one by Sovereign Life Team, both called Contact and Invite. And they essentially teach the skill of creating that engaging conversation and invitation whereby a person is leaning into wanting to know more rather than repelling you because they think you're trying to sell them something. Super, super important because it's the most important thing you could possibly learn in this business. The rest is pretty straightforward. Dave?
Yeah, back in the day when I was transitioning from one place to another, I got a job with a company called Leland Capital, and they were involved in selling the federal government's oil and gas lottery program, which was a program that you could get a lottery ticket on a piece of government land. And every 2 months, they drew these tickets. They're all over the states. And if you won the lottery, then you got the oil and gas rights on that piece of property. Now, I'm not embarrassed to say this, but at the time I was an illegal immigrant in the United States, and I hadn't quite got myself into a position.
I think the statutes of limitations is passed, right? You don't have to worry about that.
Well,
right
I'm now a U.S. citizen, so that's a long. But I wanted to earn some money, and I was in between situations, and this job sounded so fantastic, and I said, okay, let me go in there, and I got this job. But anyway, the first thing they had me learn was a script. And the script was all about who they were, what they did, what it was all about, what the investment was, how it, all of that stuff. And so after I got trained for a week, I got trained 5 days a week, all day, 8 hours a day. Then they put me in a cubicle with a phone and lead cards and the script on boards all around my cubicle. So I would look to the left and it would say, hi, Mr. Jones. My name is Dave Rolfe. I'm with Leland Capital. How are you today? That's what the script started doing. And then I said, we're involved in the federal government's oil and gas lease lottery program. And every 2 months, the government has an auction and you can win the oil and gas rights on a piece of property. Do you happen to be an investor? And then they'd answer the question. Now, I would make 120 dials every day and I might get to talk to 15 or 20 secretaries who then would let me talk to 6 or 7 executives to make 5 or 6 presentations and send out material. Now, the magnitude of that is the same as what we do in the sense of you got to talk to a lot of people. You got to sell the same story over and over and again. You got to find out what's important to them, what they need and want. And then once you know what they need and want, you can present them with the solution. Now, here was the interesting thing. We did a survey with water. And what we found out was that when you did a survey with water, not everybody understood the importance of water. So if they didn't understand the importance of water and you're trying to sell them a water system, you're like way over their head because they're not listening or paying attention to you. It's kind of like half the country, goes one way, half the country goes the other way. So if you're not talking the right language, you miss the boat. So one of the keys to the success in our business is the attraction of something. Now, for those of you that sell lots of product, the attraction is it fixes hours, makes you feel better, gets rid of things. It makes you more comfortable. You feel more energy, whatever the case may be is. But then you talk to somebody that's got all those things and doesn't need anything else, then you got to go a different avenue. And what I found was fascinating out there in society is the unemployment rate's 4%. That means that 96% of the population's working. Why are they working? Because they want to put a roof over their head. They want to put food in their belly. They want to put clothes on their back. They want to go play on the weekends. They want to travel. They want to send their kids to college, and they hopefully want to buy a home and retire someday. So the common denominator of interest was very simple to figure out. And again, what I highly recommend is we go back to what the goal is. What's your goal? The goal's got to be something you're working towards daily to reach. It's not just something you flap your gums at. Well, my goal is to do this. 6,000 points. That's all it takes to get to silver. We should be breaking silvers every week, every day, just hundreds of them, et cetera, if we were really playing the game. I don't know if you saw the Super Bowl yesterday, but one team played the game and one team didn't. And
They
it was
watched.
extremely obvious, the team that didn't, and it was extremely obvious the team that did. It's the same way with our business. Again, here's the upside of our business. You could work for 4 or 5 years, bust your ass, do everything you can, work 40, 50, 60 million hours a day, and then retire for the rest of your life after 5 years. That's what you could do. I did it. Michael did it. Many other people did it. Why did we do it? Well, because we worked our tails off. But here was the other thing that we did, which was so important. We figured out what worked. We figured out what other people wanted. I have 2 gentlemen on the phone, Serge and Garen, that said what they wanted specifically. So if I were their sponsor, my job would be to show them and teach them and work with them to get what they want. Now, why would I want to do that? Because if I help them get what they want, guess what I get? More of what I want. And it's the simplest thing in the world. And so, again, go find one person that wants to play. And here's why I'm saying this. We are a warm market business today, more than ever. And
Absolutely.
The reason is we're a warm market business today more than ever is because nobody picks up their phone anymore. You try and call somebody today, and it's a nightmare to get through to them. Back when I was doing that, everybody answered the phone. There was no smartphone. The only thing they had was secretaries, and secretaries were easy to get through. Yeah, hi, Dave. This is Dave. Yeah, I'm calling from the doctor's office. I have some important news for your boss. Oh, yeah, okay. Hang on. I'll put you right through. Hey, hi, Mr. Jones. This is Dave Rolfe. I'm with Leland Capital. How are you today? Again, that was old school. But what I'm trying to tell you today is We, we've been indoctrinated with fear. We've been indoctrinated with, you look at who's calling, you don't have them in your phone book, you don't answer their call. And so we have to be, and again, in the warm market area, you've got friends, okay, and you call them up and say, hey, would you be interested in making an extra $10,000 a month? What do you think they're going to say? Of course, yes, because you know them. See, that's why warm market is so critical. So
Let me
practice
jump
what
in
you-
here, Dave, because you just teed up perfectly a slide that I have set up.
Okay, good. All right.
Thanks, Dave.
So while he's teeing up the slide, the important thing is know your craft and then get out there and beat the bushes, and then things will start to take shape. There's no other way to do this.
I agree. There's a lot of people who, I mean, I watch this too. I see promoters on social media, and most of us don't really use that tool as much as the younger generation. But I've got young kids around me, and I'm constantly reminded of it. But anyway, I see people promoting nonsense like, oh, the social media funnel will save you time and energy and money. People will throw themselves at you and be joining your team, sponsor 15 people every week and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if that was true, you wouldn't be saying that. You wouldn't need to be saying that. You'd just be doing it. But the fact that you're saying that means you're using that story, which is just a story, to attract me, which is who you really are after. You're not after helping me. You're after recruiting me or sponsoring me or making me a lead. So if you understand the game that they're playing, you understand it's mostly fraud. We don't do that. We don't have to play that game because Niken's real. The products are real. The company's 50 years old this year. That doesn't happen unless you got something that survives all of the kind of stuff that people can say about you. And people say great things about Niken and especially their products. That's why we're still relevant and even more so today. But getting back to the point Dave was making, the relevance of being able to pick up the phone. You might have to send a text to somebody and say, hey, this is Mike in case you don't recognize my phone number. I'm going to be calling you right back. I have something important I want to chat with you on. So that might be the precursor today than it was maybe 10 or 20 years ago. But here's the thing. Everybody knows somebody. If you look on your cell phone, you probably have more than 100 names in your contact list. I'm guessing a lot more than 100. And that's true for every single person you enroll. That's true for every single person you have on your phone. So if you have 100 people on your phone, and each of those 100 people have 100 people on their phone, that's 10,000 people. So if all you have to learn how to do is how to reach out and touch someone in a meaningful way of those 100 people, and they're willing to do the same with their 100 people, you'll have exposed 10,000 people. So what could you possibly do that would inspire that type of behavior? Well, first of all, it's be courteous, be polite, be professional. These are the first of the most obvious things. But also, who are you reaching out to and why are you reaching out to them is a very, very important piece of how to contact and invite. And I talk about that in the audio, contact and invite. Do not make a phone call until you've identified, number one, why are you calling them? That's a really important thing. And you might say, oh, I'm calling them because they have, a huge contact list and those are all maybe the mechanical reasons or the logical reasons why you'd call them in terms of why they would make a great business candidate. Don't call somebody because you think they need this. That's the wrong reason to call. Hey, I'm calling you, Dave, because I think you need this. And
No, I
Dave's
don't.
like,
No, I don't.
Yeah,
No, I
exactly.
don't. Sorry,
It's like,
Michael, I don't need it. Go away. Go fishing.
It's like when
That's
you
why I get that reaction all the time.
Well, there you go, because you're probably inspiring that reaction all the
I'm
time.
not trying to do that.
It's what you're saying. You are causing the results you're getting. Nobody else is. So it's your language. It's your energy and it's your language. That speaks bundles to somebody who's listening on the other end intently.
Michael,
So
I got
learn the
something very
language.
important here.
Yeah.
So I lived in I was, I think, Diamond going Royal Diamond. I was making 40,000 a month, and my next door neighbor was, and we lived in $1 million neighborhood, and we had a multi-million dollar value house, and so the neighbor next door, and he built an addition on it. We'd party back and forth. Now, here's the deal. I said to him, I said, you know, I'm expanding my business. Would you be interested in making some extra cash? And his answer was, I'm always interested in making extra cash. What do you got? You see, what most of you and most of us didn't understand was the question you ask is the key to your success. Because you can't walk down the street and tell me what's going on in that guy's mind, that woman's mind, that kid's mind. You can't tell me what they're thinking about, what their problems are, what they like, what they don't like, how they sleep, how they don't sleep. None of that stuff. The only way you find out is by asking a question. So if I go back to what I originally started, what I learned to do was ask questions, but here was the key. I had to know how to answer the question. So if I didn't know how to answer the question, guess what I wouldn't do? I wouldn't
Ask
ask
the
it.
question, right?
So you got it's the cart before the horse kind of thing. So you learn let's say you want to go after making money. Well, what do you need? You need other people that need to make money, plain and simple. It's just that's the way it is. Let
me also add, Dave, if you ask that question and the person says flat out something derogatory or negative, then I'd question who it is that you're asking. So
I'd just say, okay, thank you very much.
yeah.
Move on.
So that's called disqualifying a prospect. Qualifying a prospect. Imagine if that was your job, not qualifying them, but disqualifying them. Think about how that feels.
I want to tell you a secret, Michael. That is your job.
It is.
It'd be awful.
No, it's not awful. It's absolutely empowering. If your job is simply to find out people who've got a heartbeat and some form of ambition still in them, then it's an easy job because you don't take it personally if the person is negative. It's not about you, it's about them. They're just revealing where they're at in life. So
I'm a numbers guy. Whoever's in the asking the question, maybe it's Patrick, but I did a numbers of all the people I contacted and made a presentation versus how much I earned. Every person that told me no was worth $10,000.
mm,
Every single person that said no was worth $10,000. Because if I went through enough no's, I got to a yes. So again, it's kind of like, I don't know, you could probably call it the dating game too. How many women did you ask out on a date before you got your wife? You know, that kind of a contest. Or how many girlfriends did you have or boyfriends did you have? You know, it's a process. That's what life is.
let me get us back to this list, because I think we're not asking people to go out into the streets and start knocking on doors. We're saying everybody knows somebody. And of the number of people that you know, there are some that are more qualified than others. And you don't even have to ask them a single question to know that. I can ask you, if you went down your list of names one at a time, and that's what you see on the screen right now. What I'm sharing on the screen is the process that I would use to qualify, or I should say pre-qualify a candidate, to put a candidate to the top of the list rather than the bottom of the list. Let's say out of 100 names, I said, we're going to go through this list one at a time, and we're going to look at each person as a person, and I'm going to ask you this question. This person, Henry A., is Henry A. more entrepreneurial than you? Yes or no? If it's a yes, they get a 3 out of 3. If it's I'm not sure, that's a 2 out of 3. And if it's not really, that's a 1 out of 3. So you could get a maximum of 3 in this category of entrepreneurial. And I said, is Henry A. More influential than you? Let me rephrase. If they came to you with an idea like this, would you be open to talking with them about it? That's a strong influence. So I'd say that's a 3. If you're not sure that you'd be very interested in what they had to say, that'd be a 2. And if it's definitely I wouldn't be interested, that's a 1. So that's giving you an indication of whether or not Henry A has any degree of influence with you or others. Now, it's always in relative to you, mind you. Resources is the next category. If Henry A decided that Nikken was for them, would they be able to invest in Nikken products to the degree that you have? Yes, absolutely. That's a 3. Not sure. That's a 2. Probably not. That's a 1. So it's not like they're out of the count. It's just we're getting a qualifier here. And the last question is Henry A within driving distance? Yes or no? If it's a yes, it's a 1. If it's a no, it's a 0. So a 10 out of 10 in this case would be Henry A lives close enough that I can meet with this person in person. They are more entrepreneurial, more influential, and have more resources available to them than I do, or more resourceful than I am. That would be a 10 out of 10. Henry A would be one of the top candidates on my list. If I went through my entire list of 100 names, I could easily identify the ones who rate 8, 9, and 10. Those would be my top priority candidates for introducing Nikken as an opportunity. Now, if I ask the question that Dave proposed or some form of it to those people, I'm pretty sure the response would be, yeah, tell me more. But if I introduce this idea to people who may be rated much, much lower, I'm pretty sure the response would not be the same because they don't have the same mindset. So, of all the people that we know, there's going to be some people who have a greater attunement to what Nikken is about and will respond more favorably than others. And those are the ones we want to get to sooner than later. I don't want you to go through 75 names on your list who are 5s and below. I want you to go to the top 10 immediately. Now you might say, but Mike, I don't have the skill set yet. I don't have the confidence yet. I don't have that whatever. In which case I would invite you to the contact and invite audio. Listen to it because it's going to show you how, in fact, you would do exactly that and get a success, a big win. And one of the examples is my own personal story, where my very first contact was the person who was the highest on my list. And I did what the best thing you could possibly do. I went to him for help. Instead of me offering this person who had pretty much more than I had in every sense, I went to him for help. And given that he was the kind of person that I thought he was, generous, kind, compassionate, all the reasons why I was calling him, he in turn said, sure, kid, come on over, show me what you got. So here was a person who I said, the reason I'm calling him is those words, the fact that he was a kind and considerate person. He was very kind to me. And that I knew he liked to help people. That was important to him. That I thought I had found something that might, in his hands, go very, very far. That it might not be for him. Notice all the words I'm using have absolutely nothing to do with him being entrepreneurial, influential, resourceful, or lives nearby. Those were my reasons for putting him at the top of the list. But my reasons for calling him were personal. And that's how you do this. And that's how you win with this. So watch that script, pay attention to that, and you'll find that it works. In fact, it was tested in a scientific way with an 85% conversion rate, invitations to appointments.
There's another way too, Michael. They could call you or they could call me, and then I'll teach you how to ask the questions and invite people.
There you go. It's on you now. It's on you to call us. If you want to play like the Eagles played yesterday, you'll be calling us. If you want to play like the other team, I don't even know who that other team was. What is it? Chiefs, I think? Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, if you want to play like them, you'll sit on the sidelines and watch somebody else win.
Well, I've already been through my list of 100, and I've got to redraw a whole new list.
And I'll bet you that first list, Patrick, wasn't your best list anyway, because usually when somebody's new to the game and they're shy and they're not quite sure and they're not quite confident, the first names that come up are all the people you think you can help. Now I want you to come up with a list of all the people who you think can help you get Nikken off the ground in your neck of the woods.
I'm going to tell another story, Michael, because I think for Patrick and everybody else, this makes sense. So I have a friend who's an actual rocket science, and he invented a product for cancer, and he sold his company for $6 billion. True story. He came out with another company, Grassroots, where you could buy the stock for 50 cents at the stock. Do you think I would buy that stock after making a fortune on the other stock? Yes or no? Of course I would. So it failed miserably. Okay. So then he came out with a third stock and another company that, again, the same thing, Cancer Arena. And so again, it came out less than $1 and we bought the stock and that stock went up 30 times. So here's the message to the story. You talk to people, you never know who they are. But if you give them what they need and want, they can blossom like no tomorrow. And that's the game. That's really the game. But it's in the sense of listening to Patrick, it's how do you reference what you've got to them? See, what most people are trying to do is sell them the gig. They're trying to sell Nikan. They're trying to sell the dream. They're trying to sell. You can't sell this thing. But what you can do is provide the information if they need and want it.
Okay, Dave,
See-
pause right there. I got to just jump in here. That's perfect.
Yeah.
He said, you can't sell them the gig. That means you can't sell them Nikan. You can't sell them the product. You can't sell them the opportunity. You can't sell them the gig. So don't try. The information will do that once
Yes.
they're investigating the information. But what can you sell them? Transformation. Sell them what they want. They want an improvement somewhere. They want to transform some part of their life somehow.
And that's the key. That's the so you get in there, you have these dialogues, you have these questions, you have the serious conversations, where and Michael does this with the 5 pillars. Which pillar is your weakness? So is it finance? Is it whatever it is? Say, well, would you like some improvement in that area? And if they say yes, then that's what you want to operate on. You want to know that what you've got is something that they're interested in, because if they have the interest, man, they'll jump over mountains to get it. I can't tell you how many people in my organization did exactly that because it was so damned important to them to get to the prize, to win the goal, to achieve what they wanted to achieve for their own reasons. And that's what we do here is we open the door to allow individuals to be creative, imaginative, to get what they want based on utilizing this vehicle. That's it, plain and simple. How many people would like, now Bob's got another stock coming out. How many people would be interested in buying his stock?
I definitely would. Hey,
Exactly.
listen, you don't know, but you don't know, but the guy's got somewhat of a track record, so he's in a better position to suggest something than I am.
And we have a track record, a huge track record. And you'd be damn fools not to utilize us to help you get those people involved.
I'm just going to find these links. Keep going, Dave. I'm going to find the links and put them in the chat for the contact and invite audio, and everybody can listen to that.
Michael says for me to keep going, so I'm going to keep going.
There, I found one. Okay,
So in setting the goal, you want to set a goal that can be reached first. Once you set a goal that you can reach, then you want to up the goal and reach that. And then you want to up the goal and reach that. And you want to up the goal. And then after a period of time, you get so used to reaching the goal that you can set any goal you want because you know you're going to reach it. See, if you know you can reach it, then you're more apt to go after another one. If you don't reach it and you never reach it, then you become fearful of being able to reach it. So pare it down, find something that you can win at and win, and then move it up and ratchet it up as quickly as you possibly can.
I have a quick question, if I may.
Sure.
What do you say to someone because what do you say to someone that says, I looked up your company, there's a couple of negative reviews on there.
And
Wow.
Oh
so
my
what?
God. I
Oh
saw
my
those
God,
too.
stop the world. I
I-
want to get off.
Yeah, I saw those too. It's actually
On Reddit,
interesting how some people take things
Right.
the wrong way. Let me
Right.
ask you a question. Is that really important to you?
No, but it is if someone is interested and I need to know how to respond properly to that.
He just did.
Yeah.
He just responded to
Here's
it
the thing, Josie.
by asking you a
Josie.
question.
Before I would get into sending them stuff, I would
Right.
like you to know it first, because I mean, again, every company in the world has negative reports. Apple has negative reports. Google has
Right.
negative reports.
Right.
Facebook has
Try
negative
booking a
reports.
hotel. Oh my God. It's like, I don't know if I want to stay anywhere anymore.
Right.
But the advice would be to hold off on sending them anywhere. Hold off on the first thing is are you interested in making some serious money? I'd love to sit down and talk with you if you are. If you're not, next.
Yeah,
But
that's the
again,
Yeah,
that thing
I've-
sounds
I've
like
been
you were trying to
trying
sell me
to
something.
get
them. That is the first thing I gave him, and then I gave him the next video, and that's when that question was kind of posed. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
I really
okay.
gotta-
I,
yeah,
if I may, I have absolutely no fear of a person saying, "Oh, I heard that magnets don't work or don't do anything." And say, "Well,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly,
right?
yeah.
I mean, today you can hear pretty much anything about anything. The question really is, do they work for you? And is if they do, would you care what anybody else said about it?
Right, right,
You know,
absolutely.
so it's a question. I always respond with a question because what I want to know is what's the relevance of that? How important is it to you? What's the relevance of it? If we just go by by somebody else's opinion, if that's all we're going to be doing, I'm more interested in your opinion than whoever else this person may have been. So you know what I mean? Like if we're going to be susceptible, it's called SNIOP. If you're susceptible to the negative influence of other people, you're screwed. You'll never win in business. Ever, any business of any kind, ever. SNIOP, write that down. Susceptible to the negative influences of other people. If you're that, you're going to be subjected to 85% of the population who are going to have an opinion worth no more than a toilet seat. The people who make things happen are not the majority. They're the minority. Let me give an example. Just
And it
quick
comes
question.
back, Josie.
Show
Sorry.
by hands. Show by hands. How many of you would like to be happy, healthy, and wealthy? Now, how many of the people do you know personally are happy, healthy, and wealthy?
No.
Okay,
None.
so we're not in the majority, guys. We're in the extreme minority. So don't be too concerned about what the rest of the world has to say about it. There's enough of us to get the job done.
Yeah, Josie, know your craft and spend some time with your story and the objective. But here's the next part is really understand what the person that you're talking to wants and needs before you tell them what you've got. See,
Which is why, I have
yeah.
a potential person coming in Thursday. She wants to
Okay.
join.
Okay, good for you.
Fantastic. You haven't even probably listened to the scripts yet, but it's okay. That's good. And by the way, just an FYI, take us up on the offer. I know Josie, you already talked to me. You're already in communication with me, but this is really important. I know who's working the business 100% because they're on the phone with me and another person. Those of you who have not using us as ABCs are not working the business. Not the way this business is designed. ABCs is how this business works. It's not a one-man operation. It's not a sole proprietorship. It's about networking. And if you're not connecting people with people, you're trying to do all the talking, which means you're doing the selling. People don't want to be sold. People love to buy. Ever walk into a clothing store and the first thing the person walks up to you and says, "Can I help you?" What do you say?
I'm not interested. I'm just looking.
No, I'm just looking, right? Doesn't everybody say that? And yet you're the one who walked into the store. You're in the shopping center to begin with. You're not there to just, you're there because you're looking for something, but you don't want to admit it because you don't want to be quote unquote sold. You don't want to be pinned down. But if the person says, if I asked you, are you looking for anything in particular? That's a different question. So find out what that person wants and sell it to them. That's what my mentor used to always say. Find out what a person wants and sell it to them. And believe me, nobody wants a water filter. They want clean water. Nobody wants a magnetic topper on their bed. Nobody, not a single human being on this planet wants a magnetic topper on their bed. Not even those of you who have one. What do you want? Better sleep.
Good sleep.
Paul.
I think this kind of conversation is really good because when you think of duplication, we go to second level, third level, like things get lost, can get lost if you don't have the right people at the fourth level. And so I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. Well, this recording will be available in about an hour or so. So it'll be posted on all the major chats. If you're not on any of the chats, you want to get on those chats right away. The Core Consultant chat is the main chat for the Nikken community, and this will be posted there. You can also find it on the YouTube channel. Go to the Royal Alliance YouTube channel, and there's different playlists. The playlist this will be on is Aligning with Success with Mike and Dave. There's another playlist at the YouTube channel for the Royal Alliance that you'll find very interesting called Brand Night. Those are the recordings of the calls that we do on Wednesdays that inform people about the various Nikken products and technologies. If you want to learn more about Nikken products, definitely go there. You may have somebody ask a question or two about a specific product. You can just go to that resource library and send them the link to the video. That way they have access to information about the products from somebody who's presenting that information in a professional way. Wes.
All right, where did we find the resource library again? I'm writing this down. To
The
learn about
Royal
product,
Alliance. Go to the Royal
Yeah.
Alliance
right? And
YouTube channel. The YouTube channel for the Royal Alliance. And look for the playlist called Brand Night.
okay.
Wes.
Michael, I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to what you put in the chat. You put a couple of links in there, and I don't know that everybody
I
was
did.
aware.
So there's two links in the chat that I put in tonight's chat, and that is the link to the two YouTube videos. The ones, I'll just show them on the screen here. So one of them is called Contact and Invite, Mike DiMuccio, and the other one is called Contact and Invite Training Sovereign Life Team. Those are the two videos.
So
And-
everybody just take a minute and click on those links before we close this out.
Yeah. And they're, like I said, study them. I mean, this, like I said, this is the most important thing you can learn how to do in Nikken. Because sharing information with somebody who wants to know is easy. It's easy. There you have resources, you have access to us, you have, all the many resources, YouTube and so forth. And if you're new, you're going to learn them. They're all a fingertip away. But nobody's going to want to hear about it if you haven't got their attention. And to get their attention, you got to know what it is that's going on for them, what makes them tick, and if they want to reach for something greater. So that's the contact and invite. Learning how to have that first conversation is the critical conversation. And I guess when you're experienced in sales or in business, you're more familiar with that. You've probably learned it in some way or another. But if you're not familiar, if it's not something you've learned, it's something you really have to invest time to learn. Yes, Dave.
I just want to ask the group here tonight if they would like to have a Saturday morning, learn how to tell stories or learn how to create your story or learn how to open this conversation or
learn the compensation plan? If so, write it in the chat that you'd like to have it, and maybe we can put that together.
Now we do have a Thursday evening specific for people who are going through the investigation and they want to know about the compensation, the business model, etc. We call it the business launch. And in that call, we answer questions that are specific and we help people we try to establish what it is that they really want. Sometimes we don't even know, and they don't even know until we ask them. And then we point them in the direction we feel they need to go at that moment. So that call is a dynamic call. It's live and interactive. Sometimes, most of the time, we point them to getting started. What would be a good way to get started? Because, and I just want to end on this note because we're past time here. It's really important you as a business owner have a franchise-like business model, which means if you go to McDonald's, you don't tell McDonald's what color you want the building. You don't tell McDonald's what products you want to put in the restaurant. McDonald's tells you. And you either a yes or a no or go somewhere else. So in your business, it's not that extreme, but it is a business of duplication. So what is the culture? We're going to refer to the business of duplication as the culture that you're creating in your business, in your team. I have a culture in my business, in my team. If you're on any of my calls, you will always hear me say, good, better, or best. There's three things that we invest in Nikken: time, money, contacts. Time, you got to carve out to make time to reach out to people and enroll them in this process. Money, it's the investment in your Nikken products. And those are three types of investment: good, better, and best. Which one do you want to hear about? Good is 1 pack, better is 2 packs, best is 3 packs. Why? Because there is a system. You want to duplicate what I'm saying. You want to duplicate that when you enroll somebody. And number 3, contacts. Everybody has names in their phone. We make a contact list. We then look at that contact list and determine who are the top 10, 20, and 30 people we want to talk to first. That's the culture. That's what I embed in getting somebody started so that it's simple, it's repeatable, and everybody can do it. All right. That's it for tonight. Great call, great information. We'll put it on the chat, this recording. Please keep a copy for yourself, save it somewhere, and review it and offer it to somebody who might be having some challenges on your team. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike and Dave.
Thank you.